Hi guys, welcome back. It's Mr. Brady here, hoping to explain the 2009 FRQ. Again, it relates to bank balance sheets, the money market. We're bringing it back to aggregate demand, aggregate supply. A lot of good stuff within this. So hopefully this helps you. In country Z, the required reserve ratio is 10%. Assume that the central bank sells 50 million in government securities. Government securities, T-bonds, securities, they're all bonds. Calculate each of the following. So AI, the total change in reserves in the banking system. Well, if the central bank is selling 50 million in bonds, where does the bank is giving the bonds away, right? We're selling them. Who's buying it? That's the commercial banks. The commercial banks are buying. How do they buy those 50 million in bonds? Well, they have to give the Federal Reserve $50 million, right? So, how does the commercial bank be able to purchase those bonds? Well, they're selling 50 million that was in excess reserve. So how much changes in excess reserves? What is the total change in reserves in the banking system? It's 50 million, right? What is the maximum change in the money supply? Well, the money supply equation, if I'm just pulling it up from 4.2, hopefully I have it, 4.2, it's going to load right here. The total change in the money supply equals the change in excess reserves times the change in the multiplier. Well, in this case, in 4.3, just going back, our excess reserves decreased. They decreased 50 million. So the maximum change is going to be the negative 50 million. That was what's gone in excess reserves times the multiplier. Well, 1 over 0.1 equals 10. So it's going to be negative. The answer, if I can do it here, this is to AI is negative 50 million. The money supply will decrease 500 million, 500 million. 50 times 10 is 500. Using a correctly labeled graph of the money market. So we're on to B. Ooh, money market, right? There's the money supply curve, the money demand curve. I'm just labeling. MD, money demanded. MS, money supply. Our y-axis, nominal interest rates. And then our x-axis is the quantity of money. So using a correctly labeled graph of the money market, show the impact of the central bank's sale on the nominal interest rates. Well, again, buy big, sell small. If they're selling, right, the banks are losing out on money that they could have loaned out. So the money supply is actually getting smaller. It shifts to the left. Well, if the money supply shifts to the left, we're now here. We were previously here. The interest rate is increasing. Interest rate increases. So there you go. What is the impact of the central bank's bond on the price level? What graph tells this price level? The one we know and love, ADAS. So here we are. Let's say we're operating right here at full employment. Change it. We're at full employment right here. Okay. Well, what happened to nominal interest rates? Nominal interest rates increase. Does that make loans more or less expensive? Well, it makes them more expensive. Does that mean businesses, consumers are going to be more or less likely to take out loans? Less likely, in which case the loans decrease, spending decreases, spending. We're talking shifts in AD. Aggregate demand is going to shift to the left. We're now operating here in our economy. Well, what's happened to price level? Price level in the short run has decreased. As a result, so that's C. The answer is price levels decrease. As a result of the price level change in part C, are people with fixed incomes better off or worse off? Well, if my salary hasn't changed, but price level has decreased, everything is now cheaper. In real terms, my wages have increased. I can buy more Snickers bar. Why? Because the price of Snickers has gotten cheaper. 3. I can't really read it. Assume that the real interest rates in Canada and India have been 5%. Now interest rates in the United States, I'm guessing. Let me just double check to see what that is. And 4.3, so we can go over it together. But if everything is cheaper in the United States, my guess is, okay, D, as a result of the price level change in Part C, are people with fixed incomes better off, worse off? We already went over that. They're worse off. Hopefully this helps. Let's just double check to make sure the answers are what we say they are. Total change is 50 million. Total change 500. There's the money market graph. 1 point is earned for concluding that price level will fall. 1 point is saying that people with fixed incomes are better off. 1 point is earned for explaining that lower price level raises income or increases the purchasing power. So hopefully that helped you guys. All the best. Adios.